The A380 was a major player in the aviation industry for over a decade. It was the world's biggest passenger aircraft and was well liked by both carriers and passengers. The A380, on the other hand, was a highly expensive aircraft to run. As a result, after the COVID-19 epidemic caused a dramatic drop in air travel, several airlines began to phase it out. As the A380 disappears from the skies, it will be interesting to see how the aviation industry adapts. Will airlines turn to smaller, more fuel-efficient aircraft? Or will they develop new technologies to make the A380 more sustainable? The A380 was planned for high passenger volume carriers as an extremely high-capacity aircraft capable of handling substantially higher loads and competing with Boeing's already successful 747. The concept was that carriers could operate a few A380s instead of flying more single-decker long-range aircraft like the A330s, A340s, and 767s. The idea was conceived by Airbus engineers in 1988 and debuted at the 1990 Farnborough Air Show. The team suggested that the A380 may save operational expenses by up to 15 to 20% compared to a Boeing 747-400. Major airports had to redesign some of their terminals to incorporate jet bridges that could link to both the lower and upper decks, as well as rebuild their runways and taxiways to accommodate the aircraft's increased weight and wingspan. Airports that routinely accommodate A380s or are A380 certified have particular taxiway procedures and gates in place to prevent accidents with other aircraft and objects and to reduce potential damage to taxiways that are not designed to withstand the aircraft's weight. The A380 is so large that, other than the now destroyed Antonov AN-225, it is the only aircraft with Super in its air traffic controller call sign owing to the aircraft's tremendous wake turbulence. Listening to ATC feeds, you can hear things like Emirates 376 Super. Unfortunately, the A380 arrived in the market too late, as smaller but more fuel-efficient models like the Boeing 787 and Airbus A350 proved to be strong competitors. As a result, just 251 units were delivered. Many assumed the pandemic would be the final nail in the coffin for the super jumbo aircraft, but a massive increase in travel demand beginning in 2021 resulted in many being pulled out of storage. With that in mind, let's take a look at the airlines that still use A380s. As of March 2023, only a handful of airlines still operate the A380. These include Emirates, Etihad, Qantas, All Nippon Airways, ANA, Singapore Airlines, and Korean Air. However, all of these airlines have announced plans to retire the aircraft within the next 5 years. Emirates. Emirates, by far the largest operator, received over half of all A380 orders, accounting for 123 of the 251 delivered to Airbus's 14 customers. Unlike several other airlines, Emirates intends to maximize A380 utilization until the mid-2030s and has decommissioned just 5 aircraft to date, bringing its total to 118. The airline is now working to restore the full A380 fleet to operation by spring 2023. Approximately 100 were already on active service at the time of posting. Etihad, not in active service. After storing all 10 A380s, Etihad stated in December that 4 will be relaunched in the summer of 2023. Etihad expects 4 of its A380s to be returned to the service in the summer of 2023, with plans to operate to London Heathrow, freeing up capacity for more flights on existing routes and the launch of new locations. Qantas. After receiving its first A380 in 2008, Australian carrier Qantas added 12 of these BMS to the fleet over a period of 4 years. They planned to park them like many others during the epidemic, but with travel rising up, 5 have already been brought back online, with plans to reinstate 5 more by the end of 2023. The airline was so confident in its resumption of service that it remodeled the business class and premium economy cabins of its A380s. All Nippon Airways, ANA. With just 3 orders on the books, All Nippon Airways employs these Hawaiian-themed planes to transport passengers between Tokyo Narita and Honolulu. The flying Hanu motif is used to embellish all 3. The Hawaiian Hanu, also known as the green sea turtle, is a type of turtle found across the Pacific island chain. In Hawaiian tradition, Hanu is a sign of longevity, safety, and mana, spiritual energy, and its presence brings good luck and calm. They were painted in various colors, including blue to depict the Hawaiian blue sky, green to represent the clean water of the Hawaiian Ocean, and orange to represent the Hawaiian sunset. Singapore Airlines. Singapore was the second largest A380 operator at one point, after only Emirates, receiving up to 24 Supers between 2007 and 2018. The new Super Jumbo product was also launched in Singapore. According to current figures, 12 of the heavies have retired, one moving to High Fly Malta, which they also finally discontinued. Singapore operates 10 of the remaining 12 aircraft on different European, Pacific, and Asian itineraries. While there are no definite specifics on Singapore's long-term intentions for the A380, recent cabin renovations suggest that they will remain in the fleet for at least a few more years. Korean Air. Korea expects to retire its A380 aircraft within the next 4 to 5 years, together with Asiana when its merger is completed. The airline is gradually transitioning away from quad jets in favor of smaller twin-engine planes for long-haul flights. Their A380s are scheduled to leave the fleet in 2026, while their 747-8s will stay for another 5 years before departing in 2031. In India, the A380 is flown by Lufthansa, Emirates, and Singapore Airlines. Kingfisher was the only Indian carrier to have ordered this aircraft. However, this airline went bankrupt before it could accept any of the 5 A380s it had ordered. The A380 isn't completely doomed, at least not yet. Many Airbus and Boeing Super Jumbos are still in service. However, smaller, more fuel-efficient twin-engine planes are becoming more popular than ever. The A380 is a well-designed aircraft by airlines that operate it and by customers who fly on it, said independent air transport analyst John Strickland. However, twin-engine aircraft such as the Airbus A350 and Boeing 777, in general, lower the financial risks associated with filling capacity and operating expenses. The Boeing 737, for example, debuted in 1967 as a twin-jet narrow-body type with a short to medium range and various variants, and has since proven to be a dependable workhorse and the best-selling commercial aircraft in history, with over 9,600 delivered to date. Airbus's A320s, which have comparable arrangements, are so popular that the manufacturer claims one takes off or lands somewhere in the world every 2 seconds. The airliner was introduced in 1984, and the first one entered service with Air France 4 years later. Since then, it has gotten over 13,000 bookings. Its most recent version, the A320neo, has been purchased by 70 airlines, making it the fastest-selling passenger plane in history. Following the triumph of the A300, the world's first twin-engine, twin-aisle commercial aircraft, Airbus sought to make a statement in the single-aisle market. However, with competition like Boeing's 737 and McDonnell Douglas's DC-9, the corporation required a fantastic product to steal mind share and market share. These efforts resulted in the Airbus A320, the world's best-selling single-aisle aircraft. The original Airbus A320 was groundbreaking in many ways, including side-stick flight controls, a fly-by-wire system, and cargo capacities. Since then, the A320 family has expanded to include the A318, A319, and A321, as well as the A32neo. Orders for the original CEO and subsequent Neo versions number around 17,000 as of January 2023, with roughly 11,000 already delivered. The variety of the family contributes to its success. Airlines may be assured of their ability to operate short to medium-length routes with the correct aircraft throughout the seasons, with aircraft ranging in capacity from a little over 100 to over 200 passengers. Furthermore, the aircraft may be utilized in almost every climate, from Antarctic missions to hot and high airports to those with difficult terrain, giving it a versatile alternative for carriers. The end of production of the A380 represents an essential event in aviation history. It heralds the end of an era of giant, wide-body planes. However, It also opens the door to new aircraft design advances.